apps in the respective app store on iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free. ZINGOTV apps is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Fire TV sticks, Roku and Roku sticks, on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now, in saying that, my guest today is supposed to be H.E.R. She is a vocal-based live looping artist, filmmaker, voice and creative expression coach from Brantford, Ontario. Now, she does a bunch of different things. Still waiting for her to get on here. But yeah, so before she comes, I have a few songs I'm gonna play, some originals. It's been a while. And Luciana as well. She's gonna be joining us at 5:30. So until then, I'll keep you all busy and warm these something up here. So riddle me this. Riddle me this. Why is it every time I ask you a question, you respond with a question and I don't get an answer? Leaves me stuck in a maze, still trying to figure your ways. Feels like a man on the moon, trying to get closer to you. Riddle me please, just a little bit. Can't get rid of it. My heart's been persuaded by you. Makes little sense, but I don't want to change. Girl, you're heaven sent, our love is so strange. Riddle me please, riddle me please. Whoa. That's riddle me this. Moving on here. What else I want to play for you guys? I had some requests that I wrote down. I like this one. People say Wandering Eyes. I'll play Wandering Eyes next. Oh, baby, these are wandering eyes that led me to you. Yeah, you steal my heart away when you smile, when you smile. You know, baby, this a wandering heart will I only love you. Yeah, stars that shine up in the moon is all for you. I've been a traveling man before. I've been a knocking many lovers' doors, searching for true love, a never-ending road. I know I found it this time, I'm sure, because, oh baby, these are wandering eyes that led me to you. Yeah, you steal my heart away when you smile, when you smile. No, baby, there's a wandering heart. I only love you. And the stars that shine up in the night is all for you. Oh, baby, tonight, these wandering nights, I've fallen in love with the only girl. It's good to be young, wild, and free. I zoom away, I zoom away, I zoom away. Just for a kiss, just for a smile. You got me traveling over the world, over the mountains and the seas. I zoom away, I zoom away, I zoom away. One more time. I like that. Oh, baby, tonight, these wandering nights, I've fallen in love with the only girl. It's good to be young, wild, and free. I zoom away, I zoom away, I zoom away. Just for a kiss, and just for a smile. got me traveling over the mountains and the seven seas. I zoom away, I zoom away, I zoom away. What else is here we can play? I like this next one. This next one is called One Night. One night with me. I had one night with you, make love, there's no tomorrow, baby, I'm so into you, stay with me, I'm the man you should follow. You could have it any way that you wanna. I never's knocking at my door. What's the problem? It don't matter. Yeah, I love the games we play in the summer. If I had one night with you, make love, there's no tomorrow, baby, I'm so into you, stay with me, I'm the man you should follow. Lady, comfort me, you're the only one for me. I tell you what I need, your love and harmony. Ooh, lady, comfort me, you're the only one for me. I tell you what I need, your love and harmony. What if I had one night with you, make love, there's no tomorrow, baby, I'm so into you, stay with me, I'm the man you should follow, stay with me, I'm the man you should follow. That's One Night. We'll keep it moving. What time is it there? We got it. All right. This next one is we bibi wangu, bibi wangu, tutaishi pamoja, mama, I'll be your soldier. Wewe ni bibi wangu, wewe ni bibi wangu, busu moja inatosha, kila siku na kukusa. Wewe ni bibi wangu, wewe should I play the whole thing? Yeah. Nakupenda sana, siwezi kudanganya. Naandika barua kwa mama yako, kwa ajili ninataka kukua, kwa ajili ninataka kukua. Nakufikiria usiku na mapema, roho yangu ni yako, kweli ninasema, kwa ajili ninataka kukua, kwa ajili ninataka kukua. Wewe, mimi na wewe
tufanye maisha yetu iende mbele. Wewe, mimi na wewe, tufanye maisha yetu iende mbele. Piga, piga. I said, nakupenda sana, siwezi kudanganya. Naandika barua kwa mama yako, kwa ajili nataka kukua, kwa ajili nataka kukua. Nakufikiria usiku na mapema, roho yangu ni yako, ukweli ninasema, kwa ajili nataka kukua, kwa ajili nataka kukua. Wewe, mimi na wewe, tufanye maisha yetu iende mbele. Wewe, mimi na wewe, tufanye maisha yetu iende mbele.
Man, this song is so sweet I could play forever. But we'll keep moving on. Check it. Once again, this is Mponda Kalunga from Mponda the North. You're joining me here today. I'm supposed to have Leah, H.E.R, and Luciana. Waiting for Luciana for 5:30. Leah's behind on time a bit. We won't message her later. What else should I play here? I want to play what's most people liking out there. I always get Show Me Happiness. I always get Freedom Fighters, but I play them so much that I feel like I don't play them anymore. But hey, it's their request. What else did I play? There's Freedom Fighters. That there is. You know what? Sometimes I just like to. That's a song that I haven't finished writing. I'm just playing the little melody there. Well, I was expecting to have a guest on here killing this time, but I'll kill this time with a song. Another song. What do I like?
We are the fighters with hands of stone. In this generation we will born. Take our freedom, we'll give you a riot. Oh, it's our dreams we're fighting for. Like a fire burning a flame, we are ready for the game. Welcome to the chamber. You will remember the name, the name. the chamber of truth.
Woo! That's Chamber of Truth. Fogging up these glasses. So let me see on here. Hey, I got a guest. How are you, Luciana?
I'm good. How are
Is
you?
it Luciana, right?
It's Luciana.
Luciana, good. I wanted to get that pronunciation in there. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually hot right now. I've been warming up, playing, waiting for the first guest, but I'm glad that you joined there. I have a bunch of questions for you. Been following up on social media and stuff, and sharing what you've been up to. People love it. So yeah, how are you?
You know, I'm actually like supercharged right now. I've had such a crazy, beautiful, busy last day of 2020. I literally just wrapped up a New Year's Eve goodbye 2020 virtual gathering with intention setting, sound bath. So I'm like supercharged right now, full of energy, full of love, and really excited and ready for, you know, the gifts and blessings that 2021 are going to bring about.
Of course, me too. It's a perfect timing. And yeah, life just happens as it does. And I'm glad you're my guest tonight on this show. Looking forward to this, you know. I didn't get to introduce you. Would you like to properly introduce yourself and all the things that you're doing, all the things that like you've been doing the last, let's say, year or so?
Oh
just who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Luciana. I was known by my artist name Alexandria for the last 5 years, so you may have seen my work across the city of Toronto or LA. I am known for my voice, so I'm a singer and a sound healer.
Great singer, by the way.
Thank you. Also, you know, heavy into music, so I DJ, I songwrite, and I'm a big time wellness and health advocate. So I'm a yoga teacher, been a yoga teacher for almost 6 years now. I'm also a Reiki master, like I mentioned earlier.
Yes, that Reiki stuff, that's interesting. I looked more into that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that until I started,
Cool, yeah, it's
cool. Yeah, keep going. I just cut you off. Keep going. You're on a roll there.
It's all good, yeah. And I'm also a sound healer, like I mentioned. So I work with frequencies and instruments that help you dive into a deeper meditative state. And I use my voice, so I channel vocals. And yeah, I built a community for wellness and health and a brand called New Love. And it's just been a
check
journey.
That out too.
It's been a journey, man. This year alone has been one of the biggest challenges and blessings, as I'm sure it has been for many. Specifically for me, like basically everything about my life a year ago is different now.
I know. Same here. Trust me. Same here. We can toast to that. That's a good toast.
I got my water. Cheers.
Yeah, man. I got tea.
I drink from the bottle. Yep, I do.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but this year has brought about so much
change.
And change. Yeah.
For sure. I want to get into it right away. What early on, what attracted you to this field, to this, you know, because there's a lot of different things that you're doing. What started like you on this path as a young lady, as a young girl?
You know, my music and spirituality, like they conjuncted when I was about 19, and the path they've evolved together, and I've always kind of been parallel. Like they've been together. So my spirituality and my musical talent, they kind of started developing at the same time. It was brought on by, you know, what I call one of my rock bottoms. So I was young, I was in university, I was depressed, that my soul was feeling like out of alignment. I wasn't doing what I loved. I always used to sing, I loved performing, but I come from an Italian background. My family's Italian. So it was always like, you know, get a good job, go to university, get a degree. And I was like, you know, going through the motions, but not feeling fulfilled or aligned. And in university, I ended up just taking choir, and all my electives were in music. So I became friends with all these music folks. and recorded for the first time ever in a friend's like apartment on his Ableton and a USB mic, and sent me songs home to my family from McGill University. And it was my sister who called me up one day after hearing, I think maybe like the third song I had sent home, and she was like, you need to do this.
Okay, so family give you prop. Is she doing anything like that too? Is she a singer or?
No, she's extremely creative and gifted in many other.
She just heard it and she knew, you know what? You do some of this.
Yeah, and I kind of went on a journey after that. I dropped out of school, started working in studios in Toronto, and recorded my first EPs. And I was super young, so I was like 19, 20. I was like 20, 21. And I had like really never taken vocal lessons. So it was like really the beginning. And you know, you don't hear that a lot, or at least I learned later that that wasn't like typical, because a lot of people in music have been doing this since they're like 3, 4, 5 years old. And then
taking classes.
Here's me like 21 being like, I'm going to be a singer.
But that's an advantage. That's still an advantage that sometimes when you do get the training, I feel sometimes, I don't want to say all the time because this is the debate. Sometimes it does lock in a box, sometimes, because you won't always have that, you know what I mean? That like, I'm untrained, so I don't know. You know, when I pick up the guitar, it's completely new. There's no box that I put myself in. There's no chords. There's nothing that, you know. I'm just trying to like, I go off the head. So the less you know, sometimes is good. So anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where they conjuncted.
That's how you started?
Yeah, and that's how I started, and it's been a journey ever since. And it was same time I kind of went on my spiritual path as well. And it's always been those two that I've been ebbing and flowing into, and yoga and meditation played such a.
Tell me more about that, about the yoga, about the spiritual path, because I think a lot of people listening will benefit from that. Like, how did you get into that? And obviously, you've grown with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, I kind of dove into that journey when I was 19. That was I was going to say 20. No, that was 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s, late 20s.
Oh, you're still a young.
Yeah, so it's you know, that was 10 years ago, and it started off just with, honestly, it started way before that. So I'm really actually grateful to my mother, because she was studying spiritual psychotherapy at the time. I was like 14, 15. So I was going to yoga classes with her from that age.
Okay.
And she was making me go to she was making me go to yoga classes before or after my dance, because I danced all through high school. And so I was exposed to yoga pretty young. And then in her training, she was learning Reiki, so the energy work. And so she would practice on us. And so I'm like 15, 16 years old, and I'm like, Mom, stop doing that weird thing.
Yeah. Like, but it's actually working.
It was working. And then I would notice, I would be like, oh, I have a headache. Mom, can you do that thing on me? And it would help. So, you know, I was exposed. That's the thing. A key thing is I was exposed to these types of practices very early on. And so when I needed support, the first things I turned to was yoga, right? And so yoga became like ingrained in my daily life, especially when I was struggling. Yeah. And then that led into, you know, reading books, right? Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra. Like I had read almost all their books by the time I was like 21. I had read everything. I was really seeking. I was seeking.
Just
like
taking it in, your soul was wanting. You're just feeding, you know?
Yes. Like I read, you know, all the books on Siddhartha. I was super into Buddhism. I had read the Tibetan book of Living and the Dying, and just all of these different things had found me. And then I knew I wanted to become a yoga teacher, and I didn't know that I wanted to teach though. I just knew I wanted to go through the training, because when you go through a training like that, there's a level that you need to reach within yourself to have an experience, right? And oftentimes these trainings, they go really deep. They're like 200 hours of training. And usually mine was actually done over 6 months. So I was able to integrate my learnings over into my lifestyle. So I didn't do
I like that part, lifestyle.
Right? I didn't do it over the 2-3 week, like jam pack it, do all this yoga in 2-3 weeks, get you 200 hours, and then come back to reality and be like, well, now what do I do? I took my time. I did it over 6 months, so I had space to integrate into my life. So that was really helpful for me. And from there, honestly, it just was all snowballing. It was like the more reading I did, the more interested I was. So I started doing Reiki. Then I started training with other healers. I started to learn like other healing and energy techniques from different mentors of mine over the years. Then I got into sound healing and started applying my work with energy and my channeling that I started. Like it just, honestly, it's like,
as you grew as a person, it's like you started adding more pieces, and you're still obviously growing, and there'll be more. Like 3 years from now, who knows what else will be adding in there, right?
Yeah, and I think the key is to follow your curiosity, right? So if you're listening to this and you're like, I've always wanted to try yoga, or I've always been curious about taking a training for this, that, or this, or I'm really into Wim Hof breathing, I want to know more. Like, dive into your curiosities, because it's in that where magic can happen, right? And if you go down that path and you're like, cool, you know what, I tried it, Wim Hof wasn't for me, or hot yoga wasn't, whatever. The whole point is that you're following the curiosity, and then from there,
because that's there for a reason.
Well, yeah, right. It's what led me to music. It's what led me to yoga. It's what's led me to like all these areas in my life that if I had ignored them, I would be working as a probably lawyer right now, which is not a bad thing, but like I would
but it's not what you love. No, keep going. It making sense. I love it. I love everything I'm hearing. It just sounds like, the more you got into this stuff, it's like one thing led to another. The more you did yoga, the more you opened up your mind to another possible thing, right? So I love, and that's what Paul was asking me, why are you doing all these things? Why are you painting? Why are you doing that? It's not just it's like your mind, right? You want to express yourself. And not only that, it's my curiosity. I love these things. I want to be the best in these things. I want to show, I want to like take whatever's inside of me, trying to express itself in every way, whether it's fighting, right? Whether it's music, whether it's painting, whether it's whatever. But so I love everything you're hearing, everything I'm hearing. I mean, so is anyone else in the family in the arts you're saying?
So, well, my family's very creative, actually. My siblings are all gifted in like things like visual arts. My eldest sister is like an overall incredible creative, like from everything from designing jewelry, making clothes, graphic design, visual art. Like she can
in there already. So you're seeing this. You're growing up. Your mom's taking you these classes. It's a lifestyle. That's how I like. It comes back that word lifestyle.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
And the only other person in my actual family has chosen the path of music is my cousin. And he's also an incredibly gifted singer and guitar player. And he's very, very talented. So there's like him and I who are really like the musicians of the family. And, we play everyone's weddings and, make it really special. And then it definitely comes from my mom's side. So he's my cousin from my mom's side. And my mom's brother was also a singer. And there was definitely like music gifted, innate musical gifts from my mom's side for sure.
But you took it on, and what was it easy in the beginning? Was it hard, or it just kind of came on? Because you seem like, what I was saying is, you seem at peace, right? I can look at you and say, you seem at peace. Was it what brought that about?
I mean, you're a musician. You know the journey. It's never easy.
I know. I'm always asking questions though.
Yeah. I am definitely at peace now.
It's pain, right? It's like, if I can jump on an answer and then it's pain, right? It comes from pain. For me, most of the good stuff it comes from pain. Obviously, pleasure too and joy, but I find when you go through a hard time, when you go through hard, you know what I'm talking about. You go on and you find a way to express yourself, whether it's boxing, whether it's whatever, but music has always been that. It's always been like an outlet. So anyways. Yeah,
music was an outlet for me as well, for sure. All throughout high school. Like I wrote from basically when I was 10 years old, I started writing poetry and songs. Like I've always been a writer. Like writing for me, like I have like stacks on stacks of journals and things that are just full of like writing and music, and like
I wanted to ask you about that. Your first song writing.
oh my God, my first song, I literally like, I don't know if that was the first one, but the first one I remember singing was so funny. But like I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, and I was always doing the like talent shows and lip sync concerts and all this fun stuff. But yeah, I would say for the most part, my writing when I was younger came from pain. And I would say that changed maybe 4 years ago. And I actually stopped releasing music in 2015 because I was so defeated and so lost. Like I was like, I don't know anymore what to do with like this, making it a career, right? I was like, I don't know how to do that right now. So instead I kind of, and I didn't know how to get more people to hear the music I was making. And it was defeating because, you know, I'd spent my life, a chunk of my life, you know, developing a craft and pouring my heart and soul into my pieces, and like feeling not accomplished because I wasn't quote unquote receiving a paycheck from it, or feeling like I wanted more people to hear the music, you know? So
and that's the universe challenging you, right? It's challenging you to see, are you gonna stick with it? Do you want it bad enough? Right?
You know, I think for me, it was actually a test of the ego, because when I was young and I came in to the industry, it wasn't an industry to me. I knew nothing, right? Like you said, like I was a total blank slate, like super wide-eyed, excited. I had no structure. There was no right or wrong for me. And so I just created from the heart and from the soul. And when I started, you know, evolving in that industry, I started meeting people who wanted me to look certain ways, sound certain ways, sing on certain music, and like were trying to mold me. And I was resisting it as best I could, but also being like, well, maybe they know things, right? Like maybe I should
maybe let me listen in, because you don't know, you're just young, right? You don't know.
Yeah. And so, you know, my path was what it was to teach me, like and basically the last few years has been a journey of me reconnecting to my heart and soul and making music from that place. And now I'm not coming from pain, which is interesting. I'm coming from love, and I'm coming from perspective. So I can
new
sing
love.
about pain. Yes, I'm coming from a new place of love,
of course,
right?
I love it.
And it's interesting because I can come from a perspective that's experienced pain, that's experienced suffering, but it also knows love and knows joy and like trusts in humanity and like loves the earth and is rooted and grounded in my essence as a being, you know? So my music is different now. And I actually started.
I love that. It's coming from love now and not from pain. Because a lot of times you do hear that the good stuff does come from pain, you know? But I love that you're actually coming from love now, you know? That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm able now to recognize that. And I just went through a whole massive journey, man. This year has been the reclaiming of myself.
Yeah. How you been keeping positive this year, to this time? How you been keeping like, because I have that drive, you have that drive, you know, want to reach our fullest potential. How you been keeping, just positive and trying to still stay up there, you know, because it is a lifestyle, you know, it's not just, you know, looking pretty. You're looking pretty because you're beautiful on the inside. And beautiful inside, it shows on the outside.
I mean, the truth is like, there's a choice, right? There's a choice that we all have to either, you know, continue living our lives the way we are, totally comfortable in what our existence is, or there's a choice to go deeper and discover the layers of yourself that maybe you don't want to discover, or discover the parts of you that maybe aren't all love, you know, and to go on that journey. And, you know, they call it shadow work or, you know, whatever, inner child work, but to go really to the places that make you uncomfortable, because that's where the growth is. And so my commitment was to myself this year. It was to go through and grow through whatever I needed to become. And I took that on fully with that same drive. You know, I took that on. I chose that because I wanted to live a different life. I wanted to live a life that, you know, I felt fulfilled by, or that I felt I
You're
wasn't
achieving
where I
things.
was
You're
coming from
growing.
abundance, not scarcity, where
Mm,
I was coming from
mm,
love, not fear, where I was coming from
mm.
openness, not fear of hurt. Like
Yeah.
just shifting the paradigms and shifting the energy in which I existed. But for me to do that, I had to change my existence, right?
Mm.
And so I took it on. And that means when I say take it on, I mean I did and am doing the work. And what does that
Yeah.
look like? It looks like something different for everyone. But what
Yeah.
I did was I knew my sore points, right? Like I have been in, you know, bad relationship after bad relationship
Yeah.
after bad relationship. And the thing was like, who is the common denominator?
Mhm.
Me. So who needs to figure it out? Me, right? So I went on that journey. That's kind of what started a snowball for me as well this year. And, you know, I took a few online courses.
Yeah.
I took a breathing technique training, which was a huge catalyst for me because
That is a big part, eh? The breathing, yeah.
it
They
created
talk more about it, yeah.
space. It just like created space. It allowed me to break the fuck down. Like I say break down, I mean like I fucking cried and wept like a child. I haven't cried that
Yeah.
hard since I was a child, and I wept like that for a month, right?
And you
So
didn't know, right?
what do
You
you
didn't
mean?
know that was gonna happen.
Oh, well, I knew I needed it, but I was
Yeah.
too afraid to go there, right? And that's most of us, right? We don't want to go there because it's uncomfortable or it's, I don't want to cry. I don't want to go through, right? But like, it's not that you go through and you sit there. You go through to grow through, right? And so I had to
You grow through, man. Hey, this is new love preaching here. I love it. Hey.
but yeah, and so like I took that on, and for a month straight I did my breathing, I did my work, I healed some friggin' big stuff, and the
Yeah.
work didn't end there. Like I had to have conversations with people.
Of course.
I had to like go through even more pain. Like it's like, yeah, I had to like basically break my heart open so I could feel it again and build, you know?
You had to become somebody else, basically somebody new. You had to, yeah.
Yeah, and then I went into therapy, and like I've been in therapy for a few months, and that's changed my life. Like
I want to hear about that, all about it.
yeah.
So you got into, okay, so you got into therapy. So you're doing all these things, the music, you're going around, like, obviously it's hard in Toronto being a musician as well. Going around, you're doing this music for a different purpose. Then slowly you go through some pain and you go in and you start to, you know, create, express yourself. And now this led you to where you are now, starting to use it for a, you know, not just being on stage looking fly, but still doing that. But the vibes are actually literally, you know, it sounds and feels good. I was listening to some of your stuff. So you started incorporating it, making good use of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? As I, you know, I find as a meditation yoga teacher, you know, there's so many people who relied on that moment to be their Zen time, right? Like, oh, I'll come to class every week. That's my me time. That's amazing, right? And it's a really amazing that people have that. But what I started to notice was, you know, it became, instead of people embodying the work and creating Zen time for themselves, they relied on getting it in a class, which has its benefits, but has its downfalls, right? Because for me, the power of learning a new skill like that is so that you can create that space anytime, any place you need it, right? Because, you know, we cannot control what happens in life. And this year taught us that, right?
Yeah.
This year was the, you know, full on sign, like, hey, none of us are in control. You know, if we thought we were here.
And that's a good thing, by the way. That's a great thing that none of us are in control.
Right. So, but it means that, you know, when we take time to practice these things, I call it building your toolbox, right? So as you explore those curiosities and you discover which practices work for you, right? It's like, is it the yoga? Is it the sound healing? Is it the breathing? Is it dancing? Is it music? Is it what's in your toolbox that's going to help you find yourself, find your center, feel grounded, feel connected, because life is not controllable. So it's up to us to develop our toolbox so that when we know we need support, we have our tools, or we can, the best thing is to have a regular practice, right? So if you have a daily or weekly, I
routine.
mean, daily is ideal. If you have a daily practice, it will keep you grounded, supported, aligned,
Yeah.
connected, but also keep your vibration elevating and elevated. So
And it sounds like you have to be involved yourself in your own, like, if you want to change, if you want to be positive, you can just say, I want to be positive, but then not do anything about it, not change your physical being. Like, I always start like this. If you want to be positive, start like this. Make your body feel good first. So you get up, you do the things that you need to do, eat, drink enough water, first thing in the morning. Like, go through the process of literally making yourself feel good, take a shower, then start from there. Don't say I want to feel happy and then be laying in bed all day and expect to feel in a dark room. Go out, smell the air, do that. So literally, I don't know, go off my rant, but
yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
that
so just live in it. Tell me, out of all the places you performed at, where's been the place that you feel you've had the most connection with people, and why?
like
Like, it
where
doesn't
in
have to be
the world?
big. It doesn't have to, just like where you felt intimate, where the people were just there for what you had to say, and they just,
Yeah, it's funny. Like I performed, oh my gosh, maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago in LA in Pershing Square for a vegan festival. I'm vegan, and so I was invited out to play at this really cool venue, and the crowd wasn't crazy big, but the vibes were right. Like I never felt, for me being, first of all, a foreigner, a brand new act that like none of these people would have heard of, the amount of love and support and attentive listeners I had in front of me was,
Sometimes you don't need a big crowd for that. Yeah, it's
it was
those.
just like unlike anything I'd experienced. And I've played like quite a few venues and events around Toronto, whether it has been for DJing, sound baths. And I'm not discrediting the audiences here, because I've also had incredible, incredible experiences with, people sharing with me, whether it was a sound bath, a DJ performance, or a singing performance. But there was something about that. Maybe it was that day, maybe it was how I felt, maybe it was the weather, but there was something about that crowd that gave me a unique feeling. And I think that's more what it was. It was a notable feeling that I was like, this is different. Like this experience and this kind of connection feels different than what I've experienced before.
I love that. And that keeps you going. And yeah, I love to hear more. And we're running out of time here. It so happens. I gotta have you back. So January 7th, if you guys want to tune in, she'll actually be performing. You have a setup, you have the time, and I kick off the new year for us. Give us some good energy, and yeah, let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here, Luciana. It's a pleasure to talk with you, even though it's short, sweet. We'll have you back on here. And before you go, is there anywhere people can reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to follow my health and musical journey, you can follow me on Instagram at Luciana with Love. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys next week, and we'll talk more, and we'll share more and tell you more about how to find me again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good rest of your night. I'm gonna do a little outro here. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch.
Sounds good. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Luciana.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye. All right, everybody. This show can also be heard on the Bombardier Net Radio Network on its 122 platforms. The H.E.R network is part of the Bombardier Media Network. Please check out bombardier.ca for all the news and programming. Bombardier, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it.